So we're going to go over solving absolute values or absolute value inequalities, but we're going to go over this compound inequalities stuff first because they kind of go together. So when you have compound inequalities, a lot of times it says or. Sometimes it'll look like this, and then other times it'll also say and in it, this and this. When it says or, most of the time, maybe all the time, when you solve it, you're going to end up with arrows that go away from one another. Okay? And most, if not all the time, they go at one another. So this is like an and one. Okay? So I have two different equations here. I have x over 6 is less than or equal to negative 1, or x over 2 is greater than or equal to negative 2. Just solve it. So x is less than or equal to negative 6. X is greater than or equal to negative 4. Now, when you do the inequality stuff, y'all have this habit of writing your number on the left and then putting your variable on the right. I still have not figured out why you do that. But if you put your variable on the left, so there's your inequalities, right? I mean, I know they have a line under them, but that's okay. They will actually point you in the right direction as to which way your line needs to go. But your variable needs to be on the left for that to work. That's why I keep telling you, write the variable on the left. So when we are doing domain and range and that kind of stuff, and we write inequalities with lines under them, what is the end point, or what does the point look like?
It's solid.
It's solid, or it's closed, okay? So I have a closed point at negative 6, and I have a closed point at negative 4, okay? And since my variables are on the left, it's going to tell me which way to go. I want to go greater than negative 4, or out to the right, or less than negative 6, or it's pointing to the left already, it tells me go less than. If your variables are on the left, that works. If they're not on the left, good luck. Okay, so up here, I have negative 30 less than or equal to negative 5m less than 20. Okay, I want to write it into equations though. So I have negative 5m is less than 20. Okay. And then I have this negative 30 less than or equal to negative 5m.
You can flip it.
Yeah, we're going to flip it. The inequality is opening to the negative 5. Okay, but I want the negative 5 on the left. I'm going to turn the whole thing over. That means the inequality is also going to flip. So negative 5m greater than or equal to negative 30. So it was opening to the negative 5 up here. It's still got to be opening to the negative 5. Okay? So when you multiply or divide by a negative, your inequality switches. So I have less than negative 6 greater, or less than or equal to 6 greater than negative 4. So again, if we do the little arrow thing, it tells me which way to go. So at 6, what kind of point am I going to have? Closed. Then at negative 4, what kind of point am I going to have? Open. And they're going at one another. So it's this area in here. What do you think?
Pretty simple.
We're good? Okay, I'll do 2 more of these and then we'll go on to other stuff. So up here, we have or, so more than likely they're going to be going away from each other. So negative 6 plus 6x greater than or equal to 60. 7 minus 12x greater than negative 17. Okay? So we'll move our negative 6 over, add it to both sides. 6x greater than or equal to 66. Divide by 6, x is greater than or equal to 11. We didn't flip the inequality because we're not multiplying or dividing by a negative, so just leave it alone. Negative 12x greater than negative 24. X is less than negative 2.
Positive 2.
Positive 2. Sorry. Okay, so I have a closed point at 11 and an open point at 2. And since my variables are on the left, it's going to tell me which way to point my arrows. Alright, last one I'm going to do up top, I'm going to do number 6. So now we got variables on both sides. I got an A on the left, an A on the right, A on the left, A on the right. I want my variables on the left though. So when I start rearranging, my variables are going to move to the left, my constants are going to move to the right. So I have -4 over here on the right. I'm going to move it over here, add it to both sides. So I get 12a. 15 is a constant. I want that on the other side. So less than -24. So a is less than -2. And then up here, again, I want to move my variables over here to the left. So subtract 13. So I get 7a greater than or equal to, move 15 over, 28. So a is greater than or equal to 4. So we're going less than -2, greater than 4. Open point, going to the left. Close point, going to the right. Questions on this stuff? We know what's going on? Yeah? Nod something.
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.